Med school has a lot of exams. Medical school has a lot of exams. Everyone knows it, but exactly how many? In undergraduate, usually you have an exam like every month to maybe every 2 months. You usually have like a bunch of exams during midterms week, and then finals week. Medical school does not always work like that. Again, this is all depends on what school you go to, what medical school you go to. It is hugely dependent, but I will explain what my school does, and I'll explain also what a lot of other medical schools tend to do, which is similar to what my school does. I've talked to my other friends in other medical schools, and they all sound pretty similar to me. So essentially, med school is throwing you with a lot of knowledge, a lot of content, right? So they want to make sure that they don't wait too long to give you an exam, because then the exam will just have too much content, right? And they don't want you to like be in this exam room for this one subject for 8 hours, right? And then just like get tested on all this stuff. So they tend to give you a little bit more exams than you would get in undergraduate studies. So in my medical school, we tend to have exams pretty much every single week. Usually about one exam per week, and sometimes it's even 2 exams per week. So you're always studying, not just to keep up with the new content, but also for your exam, because obviously you don't want to fail your exam. So it's always this balance as to are you trying to study hard this weekend for the exam, or are you trying to study very hard for the upcoming material for other classes? The answer is you have to do both. You have to somewhat, keep up with the ongoing content and also scrutinize and really dig deep into the exam stuff. So yeah, so for me, for my school, exam every single week. That is the overall theme. Yes, like there are some weeks that we don't have exams. Like the first 3 weeks of medical school, we don't have any exams. The first 3 weeks, so back end of July, early August, no exams then. But after that, just exam all the way. And then I believe in like 1 week in November, there's no exams either. But that's pretty much it. So you should be used to the idea of having exams every single week, and then studying pretty much every single weekend for this upcoming exam. And then you do have like a finals week in medical school, but it's not really like a finals week because it's not cumulative. It's just like any other exam that you have done throughout the semester. It's just called finals week because you just have exam after exam after exam, with no ongoing content. Does it make sense? So like right now, I am having to study for my upcoming week's material that are going to be gone over for other subjects. On top of that, I'm also studying for my exam for this subject. So for example, right now, what's happening, let's say I have exam for subject X. So I'm studying for that this weekend. On top of that, I also have to go over the material for subject A, B, C, D that I don't have exam for, but I still want to look over that material so that this upcoming week, when they go over that in my discussions, I can at least like know what they're talking about, right? Versus later on during the finals week when I just have exams. There's no more content that I have to keep up with. Like there's no class that I've studied for just for the discussions. Now I'm just studying for the exams. So in my opinion, it's a bit easier, I think, because then you're just studying for exams. You're not studying to keep up with any other subject's material. So I've yet to get to finals week, but I don't think it'll be too bad. And it's like a week and a half, 2 week period where they do that. So I think it's better to just study full time for exams versus like having to keep up with new content that you're trying to do. Now you're just studying for your exam that you've already learned by looking over the content throughout the semester, whatever. Classes, real quick, how does medical school classes work? This is hugely dependent on your medical school. My medical school, I love the way they do it. It is flipped classroom. So what flipped, just like the the word flipped is we don't have lectures that we attend. We don't have lectures in the school. And it's not because it's COVID. Like we literally, like even without COVID, we don't have lectures that we have to attend. Okay? All of our lectures happens at home. They're recorded. They are already professionally recorded in a studio. Like the professors, they record all the lectures, right? And then we watch the lectures before the week starts, all right? And then during the week, what we have is discussions. And the discussion is basically just a summary of what you already watched in the lecture, recorded lecture, all right? The discussion is just like basically a quick summary that the professor does, and then there's a quiz at the end of it. I mean, not like at the end of that hour, but by end of the day, sometime by end of the week, whatever the professor decides to put the deadline as. So essentially, you watch your lectures on your own, and then you attend the discussion. You take the quiz end of the day or end of the week, and you're done, right? And then if you have exams, you study for that. So I really like that, the fact that we don't have to attend lectures like in the traditional setting, because you're so much more efficient to watch lectures at home, because you could 1x it, 2x it, 3x it, 0.5x it. You can adjust the speed to your liking. You could pause if you, let's say you're watching something, then you zone out, then you realize that, oh, you just zoned out, then you could rewind it. You can't really do that in a lecture setting, you know, in a classroom. So that's that for now. So again, I love the flipped classroom model. I think it just works. I think I'm very happy with my school's way of delivering content. And also on top of that, for exams, I think it is so useful, the fact that you have recorded lectures, so you could just go back and like watch the lectures if you want to, or if you want to watch like a part of it. I think it's amazing. I cannot say good enough things about the flipped classroom. So if you are a pre-med and you are applying to medical school, interviews, whatever, definitely consider that, because I'm telling you, it is a godsend. I think it's amazing. I think it is great. So now, just because of COVID, our discussions are happening online over Zoom, and our labs are still in person. Obviously, the lab you have to go in person, but I don't know how that's going to change with increasing cases and COVID and New York and all that stuff. But for now, the discussions are happening over Zoom, right? And the great part is that it's recorded as well, the Zoom sessions. So again, let's say exam time, right? And you just want like a quick summary, you want a quick overview of everything. You don't have to watch lectures, you don't have to really like read the notes or anything. You can just rewatch all the Zoom recordings, because the professors are already giving you the summary, all the high yield points. So in a way, I feel like this is like medical school. It's a medical school hack to do your stuff over Zoom, and it's recorded. You could just literally, like, you could just watch it. You just watch the entire Zoom recording the day or 2 days before the exam, and you know all the high yield points summary, and you're pretty much good to go for the exam. And that's what I've been doing, and it's working wonders for me. So what is my strategy for my exams right now? Honestly, like, I love the fact that everything's recorded. So I just rewatch the recordings, whether it be Zoom, or if I want some more in-depth clarification, the recorded lectures that are already there for me. But my main go-to is the Zoom recordings. I just rewatch them real quick before the exam, just like get the high yield summary that the professor does, right? And then after that, as I'm watching those lectures though, I make some Anki cards, right? So now I have watched the lectures, I have my Anki cards, and then I just go over the weekly quizzes that I do, and that's pretty much it. So it takes me about a day and a half to study for an exam, which is not bad at all. And I'm doing really well right now. I'm in the high, or I won't say high, but I'll say mid to, or low to mid 90s, which is A's. So I'm getting all A's so far, and I'm almost done with the hardest month of medical school. So my strategy, I don't know if this will help you, maybe it will, because maybe things are recorded for you too. Rewatch all the summaries, right? As you're watching the summary recordings by your teacher, your professor, whatever, make Anki card, make your flashcards, right? Now you have this deck with all high yield points, and then redo all the quizzes, the questions that you have been doing up until that point, the weekly quizzes and everything, and then that's it. Now you just all you have to do is just go with the Anki cards right before the exam, maybe a couple hours before, and you're set. That's what I've been doing. So it hasn't been too bad, but at the same time, sometimes things do take longer, but that's kind of like my thing right now. Yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know what else to. I wanted to talk about the classes situation, how classes are working. Oh, and the exams. Yeah, so for the classes, real quick. So another thing I want to talk super quickly is about the classes. I'm looking at the clock right now because I do want to get back to studying because I have another exam coming up, like I said, every single week. For classes, every school is different again, but the way my school does it, and a lot of schools are also doing it, is I have classes Tuesday through Thursday. That's when I have my discussion, my lab, etc. Mondays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, they are free. So every weekend, I have a 4-day weekend. But, it's a huge but. My exams are only on either Mondays or Fridays. But once you do that exam, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hours, you are done for the day. Then it's back to your weekend time, right? So it's not bad because it's essentially a 4-day weekend every single weekend. Minus, if you have exam time, so minus 2 to 4 hours for the exam. But yeah, so you have 4-day weekend minus the exam time, and then it's just your time to study for an upcoming exam next week, or it's not or, it's really or you study for the upcoming week's classes, the discussions, and that's pretty much it. So it's actually not too bad. It's really not. But I mean, yes, you have to put in the time, but it's not too bad. It's not too stressful. Everyone says October is the most stressful month of medical school, and I'm almost done with it, and I'm not too psyched out by it. And I really like the way my school does it. They have it done right. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to give you any feedback, or let me know any other video suggestion ideas. I'm trying to make videos whenever I can, just not always happening because you get busy. So.